All right, welcome to Thursday, the 9th of July. It's been a good start to the month. We're just over a week in, and my portfolio is sitting at roughly 5% up. And I don't contain any of the super risky stocks that seem to be driving a lot of the growth in the market at the moment, so I'm quite proud. The hot topic that I wanted to discuss, something that I've seen a lot of traffic around and heard a lot of questions about, is NIO. So is NIO the next Tesla? Should we be dropping fat stacks into NIO? And my answer to that question is a very strong NIO. You shouldn't be investing, especially right now. And if you're a dad, you might appreciate my massive dad joke right there. All right, so let's take a quick look at the company. So NIO as a business is a Chinese manufacturer of electric vehicles. They have a few different cars, pretty good looking. They've got some good tech in their cars. They've got some sales. They're actually, they're doing stuff. They're making shit. It's more than some other companies that we'll look at in a moment can say. So, as far as being a real company, well done. You're not doing a bad job so far. But the electric car market, the electric vehicle market, is something that has only recently sprung into life. And at the risk of sounding like a fanboy, I think that this is because Tesla has effectively proved the market. This is a common pattern in innovation. There is a company that drives innovation within a market, and when they prove the business model, then a whole bunch of competitors appear, and there's a lot of copycat activity. But this is still a massive market. Building cars, any kind of car, is quite a difficult market because of the amount of upfront investment required, the manufacturing required, and electric vehicles bring a whole bunch of challenges that don't exist within traditional vehicles. So, just because an electric car vehicle exists and makes cool cars that look really amazing, I'm trying to find a picture of a Faraday Future car here. It does not mean that they are a viable business. Faraday Future, Byton, and a few others over the years have gone bust trying to do what Tesla has done. And that's because it's hard. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. And it's a difficult thing to do and make money out of. So, NIO has some good backers. They've sold some cars, but what we need to look at is, are they actually a sustainable business? And I know in the beginning Tesla had a lot of detractors. It didn't look like a sustainable business, depending on which numbers you looked at. But it had something extra. It had Elon, of course, and a great leader. It makes a great company a lot of the time. I mean, he's not the only one, but they are quite rare. So is NIO going to be one of these companies that becomes massively successful? Because there will be some, or are they going to fold? So something that is quite special about NIO is the amount of money that has been poured into the company. They have some massive backers, and if you look at the top 10 owners of NIO, you'll see a lot of financial companies. And actually, if you look at Tesla, you'll notice a lot of similarities in those companies. I'll give you a quick second to look at that. And so Tesla has proven the model. A lot of these companies have made a lot of money, and I expect that they'll be putting some of their cash into these other companies just in case it works out. So NIO has some good backers. Money is one large part of the equation, but also it's about execution. Something that I like to do, I look at a number of different factors and a number of different sources when I'm analyzing whether a company is worth investing in. Seeking Alpha is one of the best resources that you have on the internet. So the analysis is really good because it'll save you some time. It'll summarize lots of the other sources that are available. And I find the news particularly good too. They scrape parts of the internet or the people that summarize news articles. So it feels as though right now NIO is running high for a few reasons. First of all, Tesla has done incredibly well. Tesla has been over the manufacturing and sales hump for 1 to 2 years. The company is no longer in danger of going bankrupt. The demand is massive. They've shown that they can execute. They've created an entire ecosystem more than just cars. So now that others have made a lot of money off of Tesla, um, investors are looking for other places where they might make the same or similar returns. So I think that the retail bros, so a lot of investors that have access to the market suddenly with no fees and incredibly easy access, and they're chasing gains, and they're creating those gains to some degree with the volume of transactions that they're creating. So the stock price has a lot of momentum behind it. NIO has risen fantastically. But the question is this sustainable? Is it a bubble? Can the business ultimately be successful? So I just wanted to take a second and point out Nikola, which is another company that people are making a lot of noise about. So you can see the share price up yesterday, 34%. Nikola is not primarily an electric vehicle company, so they're also using hydrogen to power their vehicles. They've started positioning themselves as kind of the commercial alternative to Tesla, although Tesla is looking at that market too. But what is hilarious is you have a company that is worth $21 billion, $21 billion, and is making no money. This is revenue, by the way. They are not making a cent. Nothing. The world is crazy right now. The world is completely crazy. I saw someone joke on Twitter that Tesla has more cars in space than Nikola has on the ground on Earth, which is true. For those of you that know, Tesla launched a roadster into space. So just as an example of how crazy things are at the moment, bear this kind of thing in mind. This bubble will pop. Maybe they'll deliver. I don't think so. Just an article. So Nikola's overtaken Ford, and never sold a car. Incredible. All right, back to NIO. So NIO, looking at the news, lots of Robinhood is piling in. They are on a number of incredibly risky bets at the moment. Q2 deliveries, looking pretty good. I guess so. Deliveries up 190% to Q2. Obviously, Q1 was particularly bad because of the worldwide pandemic. But if we look at the numbers, at least they're selling something. So the company, looking at revenue has been increasing at a decent clip, and if they hit their projected targets, they could double double sales through this year, and they could nearly double them. Let's say they add 80% in 2021. That's great, except that these are forecast numbers, and it hasn't happened yet. In terms of operating, so let's take a deeper dive at the look at the rest of the numbers. Profit in the negative, which you would expect for a brand new company, is red, incredibly red. These numbers are in the millions, but not dollars, by the way. They're one. So incredibly red. The distressing thing is that these numbers are growing. Now, you could say that sales are growing, revenue is growing, so and they're not turning a profit yet. So the cost of selling more stuff, the cost of making more sales increases the cost of the business, and it's semi-proportional, I guess. So maybe. Then I do look at all these numbers, but I'll just pull out some of the key ones. The quick ratio. This is very bad. It means that the company does not have enough assets. It doesn't own enough stuff to pay off its debts. If this number is lower than 1, it means the company can't pay off its debts if it really needed to. Um, it's pretty dangerous. These kinds of numbers talk about that kind of thing, being able to pay off debts. And cash, it looks like, okay, cool. They did have 2 billion won in cash, at least in 2019, well, in the trailing 12 months. But working capital is negative, which is very bad. And their debt is ballooning fast, currently at 9 billion won. So the book value on paper, if you looked at this company, it's currently worth negative 8 billion won. So this tool I'm using, Stockopedia, by the way, does an incredible job of summarizing financial data. But you can see the Z score isn't something that they've made up. This is, if I click into this, you'll see it is an actual well-known set of criteria for evaluating a company's bankruptcy risk. And they are close to bankruptcy, as Tesla was at many points in time. Their sales growth is not looking good either. So looking at fundamentals, not great. Now people will say, but Tesla was in a similar position. And I don't have the history all the way back through time, but if we look in the past few years, Tesla climbed over the hump, I think, of manufacturing and sales hump 2018, probably more 2019. You can see there's a lot of red, but at least you can see that things are going in the right direction. So revenue also increasing at an insane clip. Profit lumpy, but generally, going in the right direction, ultimately potentially profitable. You can, it's obviously worth much more in terms of market cap. The company is sitting on a huge cash reserve. They've got some debt, but proportional to the rest of their book, the debt isn't that bad. The quick ratio is also under 1, but this is the number of times that they could pay off the debt using the current assets, but not nearly as bad. The sales growth is fantastic. So even though the picture here is showing a lot of red, the books are showing a lot of red, you can see the trend is ultimately in the right direction. The other thing to consider is that the company has Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not a god, of course, but great leaders are sometimes required for the success of great companies. Bill Gates, Microsoft wouldn't have been the company it was without him. Similar to Jeff Bezos and many other founders of their businesses. The leader of a business does not ultimately do everything. The leader of a great business needs a lot of other great people in order to create a great company, but without that great leader, sometimes the company just wouldn't exist. And Elon is, pretty much batshit crazy, but still gets shit done. So that's another thing that NIO doesn't have. It doesn't have this iconic leader to take them through this incredibly difficult journey. That's not to say that their leaders can't, but these kinds of people are rare. So looking at the picture so far, we've got a company. It is selling some stuff. The financials don't look great. Tesla didn't look great in the beginning either. NIO is looking a little bit more dangerous. So then I would pair this information for what is going on in quarterly and annual reports. So here I'm looking at the quarterly report. I didn't take the Corona quarter. So this will be the end of last year quarter. And something that is incredibly important to me is to read through the quarterly reports, look at the fundamentals, but also you want to get a feel for the business's sentiment around itself. And this is a very long report. There's a lot of good information in here. But something that I wanted to highlight is that never in a Tesla quarterly report have I seen a multi-page list of risk factors around the business. So whilst these risk factors might be true, they tell me that this company is covering its ass, first of all. But second of all, by listing out such a huge list of risk factors, instead of celebrating their successes and talking about the massive things that they're going to achieve in the short future, it tells me that the people that run the company are potentially slightly pessimistic about the company or the potential future of that company. So let's look at a few of these quickly. So as I say, multi-page. So our ability to develop and manufacture a car sufficient of quality and appeal to customers on schedule and on a large scale is still evolving. And they've got a long paragraph about why that might be true. Again, fairly obvious. Why do they feel necessary to make these statements in a quarterly report? We have negative cash flows from operation, have only recently started to generate revenues, and have not been profitable, all of which may continue into the future. We face risks related to natural disasters, health epidemics, and other outbreaks, which could significantly disrupt our operations. We have a limited operating history and face significant challenges as a new entrant into our industry. Manufacturing collaboration with the partners is subject to risk. The unavailability, reduction, or elimination of government or economic incentives or government policies which are favorable to electric vehicles and domestically produced vehicles could have material adverse effects on business, financial condition, operating results, and prospects. As I said, multi-page. Our vehicles may not perform in line with customer expectations. WTF, guys. Our vehicles, including the current ones they have, may not perform in line with customers' expectations. For example, our vehicles may not have the durability or longevity of other vehicles in the market and may not be as easy and convenient to repair as other vehicles in the market. Not really selling it to me here, guys. Any delays in the manufacture and launch of the commercial production vehicles in the pipeline could have material effect, adverse effect on our business. Duh. We may face challenges providing our charging solutions. Our services may not be generally accepted by our users. And it goes on and on and on. So besides the fundamentals of a business, looking at the books, looking at the product lines, looking at the management, looking at the competition, this is also another very important part of my analysis. Is the information in here something that is overwhelmingly optimistic? You maybe even delusionally so, because optimism is a powerful thing. Being able to convince the world, yourself, and your team that you can do something that is nearly impossible is an incredible skill and very, very rare. And as you can see here, they seem to be trying to convince the world that they're going to encounter a number of challenges and may not succeed because of it. Now, on top of all of this, Tesla has entered the Chinese market. Tesla has shown that they can develop charging solutions across an entire country very quickly and cost effectively. They've shown that they can repair vehicles in a way that the market expects. They have shown that they can build factories, entire factories, in an incredibly short amount of time. They've shown that they can do this cost effectively. So I think the competition from Tesla is going to materially affect NIO on top of all of the other challenges that it has. So back to the awful joke I made originally, would I invest in NIO, especially right now? And my answer would have to be a very strong NIO. All right. See you next week. Bye.